Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rakeshji. Fine. So, yesterday we saw about what is the impact of the beliefs which we have on our trading. So, the author said that, the beliefs are not just structured energy, but we are conscious and we have some awareness also. And we always want everybody to listen to us, but we don't want to listen. We want to others to believe us, and so that is something which is running. And the main characteristics of belief is that they will resist if something tries to change its form, and every belief will try to express itself in one way or the other. And the third one is that they keep working whether we are aware or not. They'll keep on working, right? So that is one of the three characteristics of our beliefs. And author says about why they resist is because uh, that is its nature. Yeah. So that is its nature, right? So what you need to do is you should not try to change it, but you should try to make it inactive by not making it functional. Basically, remove the energy from that belief. The belief can be there, so you can have two sets of belief which are contradicting, but give weightage to the one which does good to you, right? So that is the first thing, right? So don't try to change it, because if you try to change it, it will resist, right? So just make it inactive. Number two is every belief will always demand it to be expressed, right? So obviously we all want to, even if someone is trying to tell something which goes against our belief, we'll have two forces, whether we have to listen to this person or not. And even if we listen, we will not agree. And the minute we come out, we immediately tell that how difficult it was for us to talk with that particular person. And but just like how in that particular scenario where you think out of the box, you pause your existing belief and then you try to be open, that is when you become creative. And that is called the when you experience that, that is a creative experience. And basically you get new thoughts, ideas once you come out of your belief. And the author also brought back the example of the boy with a bad experience from the dog. So although he is completely, what is it called, having the belief that all dogs are bad, but even the minute he sees something which goes against his belief, uh, he has to now consider that, for example, some kids might be playing with the dog and he might be missing it. So for that, he has to put the effort and time to understand that, not all dogs are bad, and so that all has to be removed. So I think we stopped uh, with that particular, you know, yeah. So we stopped here. So we'll continue here. Although it's probably not that common, there are people for various reasons are motivated enough to purposely put themselves through the above described process. However, they may not be consciously aware of the dynamics involved. People who work through a childhood fear of this magnitude usually do so somewhat haphazardly over a period of years without knowing for sure exactly how they did it, unless they seek and get competent professional help. Later on, as adults, if they are asked for, or if they happen to encounter a situation that reminds them of their past, for example, observing a child who is terrified of dogs, they typically characterize the process they went through as I remember when I was afraid of dogs, but I grew out of it. So this is like, this is very pretty much straightforward where you grow out. There are some people who consciously, who get out of that particular uh, trauma or something. And you look at it, those are all memories. You laugh at it right now. The end result of that first scenario was that the boy worked through his fear by deactivating his limiting belief about the nature of dogs. This allowed him to express himself in a way that he finds pleasing and that otherwise would have been impossible. The second scenario that could result from the child's inadvertent creative experience with dogs is that he is not attracted to the possibility of playing with a dog. In other words, he could not care less about being like the other children or interacting with dogs. In this case, his belief that all dogs are dangerous and his new realization that all dogs are not dangerous will exist in his mental environment as contradictory concepts. This is an example of what I call an active contradiction. When two active beliefs are in direct conflict with each other, both demanding expression. In this example, the first belief exists at a core level in the boy's mental environment with a great deal of negatively charged energy. The second belief is that at a more superficial level and has a very little positively charged energy. So as we said, this whole topic we are reading is about how each of our belief they demand to be expressed, right? They all want to cry out loud. They all want to tell that, this belief is there. They all want to open it up, right? But now he has encountered two scenarios, two memories, two environments has gone inside his brain as structured energy, and both are contradicting. What is that? One is that it is all dogs are dangerous, but the other second one is that no, it's not. So, but the first one is at, it is deep. It has been from his childhood, it is there, right? But the second one has just now entered. So the first one is having a lot of negative energy. The second one is having some positive energy, right? So because he's seeing, he's still not experienced, right? But the first one he has experienced. He got bit by the dog. The dynamics of this situation are interesting and extremely important. We have stated that beliefs control our perception of information. Under normal circumstances, the boy would have been perpetually blinded to the possibility of interacting with dogs. But the experience of seeing other children playing with them created a positively charged concept in his mental environment that dogs are not all dangerous. Some can be friendly. However, he has not done anything to deactivate the all in his belief that all dogs are dangerous. And as far as I know, beliefs have no capacity to deactivate themselves. As a result, beliefs exist in our mental environment from the moment they are born to the moment we die, unless we consciously take steps to deactivate them. However, in this scenario, the boy has no desire and consequently no motivation to step through this fear. Okay, so he'll complete this as well. Therefore, the boy is left with an active contradiction where his minimally charged belief that not all dogs are dangerous gives him the ability to perceive the possibility of playing with a dog, but his powerfully charged belief that all dogs are dangerous still causes him to experience some level of fear every time he encounters a dog. Maybe not enough fear to cause him to run in terror, because some of that fear will be offset by the other belief, but there will certainly be enough fear to cause a great deal of discomfort. So, yes, so as I said, there are two beliefs which are contradicting, but the first one is so strong because he has experience. The second one is not so strong. And but still, he has not deactivated the first one, okay, because the boy is not putting that effort to deactivate it. So, so although he understands that not all dogs are dangerous, he still has that fear, and as a result, he is not trying. Okay. The ability to see and consequently know that a situation is not dangerous, but at the same time find ourselves immobilized with fear can be quite baffling if we don't understand that what we discover as the result of thinking creatively or realize from an inadvertent creative experience does not necessarily have enough energy to become a dominant force in our mental environment. In other words, our new awareness or discovery could very well have enough energy to act as a credible force on our perception of information, thereby causing us to perceive possibilities that would otherwise be invisible. But it might not have enough energy to act as a credible force on our behavior. In making this statement, I am operating out of the assumption that it takes more energy to act or express ourselves than the amount of energy it takes to observe something. It's very profound. The author is telling that you are accepting the information, but you are not changing your behavior. So, although the new information, which new belief that not all dogs are dangerous has come into your mind, that is actually an information, that is a belief, but it is still not enough for you to change your behavior. So what is the behavior? That you go and touching the dog. This boy going, should go and touch the new dog, right? So that is the behavior change, right? So for that, a greater amount of energy is needed. So this is what author is trying to tell. Okay, it takes more energy to express ourselves, okay, than the amount of energy to observe. So the boy saw it, the boy saw that, some friends are, his friends are playing with the dog, and he observed it, right? But for that, he didn't close his eyes. So there was some amount of energy involved, but still he did not change his behavior. For that, there is more energy needed, right? On the other hand, new awareness and discoveries instantly and effortlessly become dominant forces if there is nothing inside us that is in conflict with them. But if there are conflicting beliefs and we aren't willing to deactivate the conflicting forces, especially if they are negatively charged, then acting on what we have discovered will be a struggle at the very least, and perhaps downright impossible. Okay, so but if there are new things which have actually uh, new beliefs which we have learned, but it is not, there are no conflicting beliefs earlier, right? Then it immediately changes into behavior. That is what author is telling, right? But if there are conflicting beliefs, and unless we are, you know, we are not willing to deactivate those old beliefs, it will be very difficult. Okay, so if the first time you are seeing the dog, and you will immediately, if you first time the boy is seeing his friends playing with the dog, he will also go and play with the dog. But if the boy already has a bad experience, now there is more force needed to deactivate that particular bad experience, and more energy needed. Okay, what I have just described is the psychological dilemma that virtually every trader has to resolve. Let us say you have a firm grasp of the nature of probabilities, and as a result, you know that the next trade is simply another trade in a series of trades that has a probable outcome. Yet, you find you are still afraid to put that next trade on, or you are still susceptible to several of the fear-based trading errors we have discussed in previous chapters. Remember that the underlying cause of fear is the potential to define and interpret market information as threatening. What is the underlying cause of fear? Because we are looking at the market information as threatening. What is the source of our potential to interpret market information as threatening? Our expectations. When the market generates information that does not conform to what we expect, the up and down ticks seem to take on a threatening quality. They become negatively charged. Consequently, we experience fear, stress, and anxiety. What is the underlying source of our expectations? Our beliefs. Okay, so the same thing, the same behavior, the same belief which we have inside as a trader, we are also just like this boy who is encountering the dog for a second time. So as a result, what is happening? The boy, so we might have got a loss, and the next time we will be having palpitations. We might have, anxiety, we might have stress, we might have fear because we got burnt, we got our fingers burnt. Now, the next time we go, we are actually expecting something that it should go in this direction. We pray to God, do something, please, 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 something like that. But that is the problem, right? So, so because of our expectations, we are getting that particular fear, stress, and anxiety. And because of those things, and why we have that expectations, because we have a belief which is trying to express itself. What is that belief? It is that it should go in this particular direction. We are sure, we are confident, like we are so perfect, we are analysts, right? So that belief is now expressing. In light of what you now understand about the nature of beliefs, if you are still experiencing negative states of mind when you trade, you can assume there is a conflict between what you know about probable outcomes and any number of other beliefs in your mental environment that are arguing for something else. Keep in mind that all active beliefs demand expression, even if we don't want them to. To think in probabilities, you have to believe that every moment in the market is unique, or more specifically, that every edge has a unique outcome. Okay. So now he's telling that, right? I know what is going to happen, right? That is the belief. But if you have that particular belief, that will keep on trying to express itself, right? I know this market is going to go this way. I know it is going to go up. I know it will go in this. I know it will go down. Hence, I'll take a PE trade. These kind of I know, right? That is what is happening. That is going to keep expressing itself, right? Because all beliefs is going to express itself, right? So the author is telling that unless you core, unless you have that core belief, unless you completely accept, you might have that no belief, but what he's telling is completely accept that every second, every candlestick, every moment in the market is going to be in terms of probabilities. It can or it cannot happen, right? So once that is there, then that is what you need to have, right? To think in probabilities, and every moment is unique, or you have some edge. That's it. When you believe at a functional level that every edge has a unique outcome, meaning that it is a dominant belief without any other beliefs arguing for something different, you will experience a state of mind that is free of fear, stress, and anxiety when you trade. Okay. It really cannot work any other way. A unique outcome is not something we have already experienced. Therefore, it is not something we can already know. If it were known, it could not be defined as unique. When you believe that you don't know what is going to happen next, what exactly are you expecting from the market? If you said, I don't know, you are absolutely right. If you believe that something will happen and that you don't need to know exactly what that something is to make money, then where is the potential to define and interpret market information as threatening and painful? If you said there is none, you are absolutely right again. Okay. So at the core, right? At our core, we should have a belief, which is the dominant belief. What is that? The dominant belief, we saw no contradicting beliefs and then dominant beliefs. So at the core, if you believe that, every trade is just a probability, okay, and it is going to be a new expectation, right? It can go this way or it can go that way. Anything's going to happen, right? Then what will you tell when you take a trade? I don't know. It might go, it might not go, right? When you trade in that particular mindset, you will not have fear, you will not have stress, you will not have anxiety. Okay. You'll simply believe that it might go in that particular direction or not. right? So if you believe that something will happen and that you don't need to know exactly what that something is to make money, then then where is the potential to define and interpret market information as threatening and painful? You know that something will happen, it might go up or it might go down, and you don't know whether it will create money or it will create lose your money. Then there is no such thing. It will not, you will not, interpret the market as painful. Okay. Then that is what is happening. Here is one more example of how beliefs demand expression. Let us look at a situation where a child's first encounter with a dog was a very positive experience. As a result, he has absolutely no problem interacting with dogs, any dog for that matter, because he has not encountered one that is unfriendly. Therefore, he has no concept that it is possible for a dog to inflict any damage or cause him to experience pain. As he learns to associate words with his memories, he will probably acquire a belief that along the lines of all dogs are friendly and fun. Therefore, every time a dog comes into his field of awareness, this belief will demand expression. From the perspective of someone who has had a negative experience with a dog, it will seem as if this child has an attitude of reckless abandon. If you try to convince the child that he will get bitten someday if he does not exercise caution, his belief will cause him to either discount or completely disregard your advice. His response would be something like, "No way, it cannot happen to me." Okay. Let us say at some point in his life, he approaches an unfamiliar dog that wants to be left alone. The dog growls. The warning will go unheeded and the dog attacks the boy. From the perspective of the boy's belief system, he's just had a creative experience. What effect will this experience have on his belief that all dogs are friendly? Will he now be afraid of all dogs as the child in the first example was? Okay, so this is something similar which we can apply in our trading. Today morning also I had uh, one of my uncle telling that, we have to be careful with options and derivatives and just like this particular thing. And obviously I am like, I listened, I took his advice. But usually what will happen if someone is just now trying to come into options and they have complete, you know they kept on encountering success or something for few trades, 2 3 trades, and that time if someone who got, their fingers burned, they will come and give an advice telling that, hey, you have to be careful. But what is this person will tell? He will tell, no way, it's not going to happen. But the next trade, if that particular person, gets burnt heavily, then what will his belief will be, right? So same thing, right? We can, associate this particular, uh, you know, uh, scenario with the trading, right? Unfortunately, the answers to these questions are not cut and dried, because there may be other beliefs also demanding expression that don't have anything specifically to do with dogs that come into play in a situation like this. For example, what if the child has a highly developed belief in betrayal, right? He believes he's been betrayed by some very significant people in some very significant situations that have caused him to experience intense emotional pain. If he associates the attack by this dog, one dog, as a betrayal by dogs in general, in essence, a betrayal of his belief in dogs, then he could easily find himself afraid of all dogs. All of the positive energy contained in his original belief could instantly be transformed into negatively charged energy. The boy could justify this shift with a rationalization like, if one dog can betray me, then any dog can. Okay. So as the second time, this time, if after the boy got bitten by the dog, and anything can happen, right? What if this boy has a bad experience of being betrayed by somebody? So that belief will come into picture, and that will make him to now tell that, I was thinking that this all dogs are good, but this dog betrayed me. So just like his now if he did could betray, any dog will betray, right? So that belief is now coming, and it is demanding expression. Just like the topic of this whole topic is that, all beliefs are demanding expression. So we have lots of beliefs, and each belief, it's not like all beliefs will come and express at the same time. Each and everything will come at its own particular time. That is what the author is trying to tell. However, I do think this is an extreme and very unlikely occurrence. What is more likely is the word all in his original belief will instantly be deactivated, and that energy will get transferred to a new belief that better reflects the true nature of dogs. So what was his original belief? All dogs are friendly. Now that all will get removed because of this particular, uh, you know, scenario, and there will be a new belief, right? That will be the true nature, right? This new experience caused an energy shift that forced him to learn something about the nature of dogs that he otherwise refused to consider as possible. His belief in the friendliness of dogs remains intact. He will still play with dogs, but he will now exercise some discretion by consciously looking for signs of friendliness or unfriendliness. Okay, so he will now play with the dogs, but he will be very careful whether the dog is friendly or unfriendly. So that is the true nature of dogs. I think that a fundamental truth about the nature of our existence is every moment in the market, as well as in everyday life, has elements of what we know and elements that we don't or cannot know because we have not experienced it yet. Until we actively train our minds to expect a unique outcome, we will continue experiencing only what we know. Everything else, all other information and possibilities that are not consistent with what we know and expect, will pass us by unperceived, discounted, distorted, outright denied, or attacked. Okay. So, when you truly believe that you don't need to know, you will be thinking in probabilities and will have no reason to block, discount, distort, deny, or attack anything the market is offering about its potential to move in any particular direction. Okay, so this is what the author is telling. So, in everyday life and in market, we have certain things which we know, and we have certain things which we don't know, right? And if we don't train our mind to accept this, right, there are things which we have not experienced, we will continue to expect what we know only, because that is like, that is a belief which we have, and that belief is demanding expression, that is creating an expectation. We keep on expecting that, right? But what is happening? So as a result, anything which goes against our expectation and belief, it will be, we'll distort it, we'll deny it, we'll attack it, we'll tell it's wrong, we'll discount it, right? But when you believe that, you don't have to know, when you truly believe that everything is possibility, probabilities, then we will not block such informations. We will try to accept whatever happens. If you are not experiencing the quality of mental freedom implied in that statement, and it is your desire to do so, then you must take an active role in training your mind to believe in the uniqueness of each moment. And you must deactivate any other belief that argues for something different. This process is not any different from the one the boy in the first scenario went through, nor is it going to happen by itself. He wanted to interact with dogs without fear, but to do so, he had to create a new belief and deactivate the conflicting ones. This is the secret to achieving consistent success as a trader. Okay. So we have to, the author is telling that we have to train our mind to, believe in the uniqueness of each moment. Okay. Anything can happen, right? So for this and this, we have to deactivate our other beliefs that this is how it will happen, this is what should happen, something like that. Okay, this is similar to that same scenario of that particular boy where he has to accept that, some dogs might be, dangerous, some dogs might be beautiful, so he has to constantly keep aware, right? So that is how you become consistently successful as a trader. Third one, beliefs keep on working regardless of whether we are consciously aware of their existence in our mental environment. Okay. In other words, yeah, we don't have to act. So we first saw that, uh, uh, beliefs can, they will resist if you try to change. So don't try to resist, change the belief. Just make it little bit, inactive. And second one, we saw that, all beliefs will continue to demand expression, right? So yeah, so and we saw that for that we have to truly believe that, we have every moment we have to, since all the beliefs is demanding expression, you have to put extra effort to, you know suppress certain, remove the functionalities of your old beliefs and accept that, you have every moment in the market is actually going to be probability. Anything can happen. All these things, you can have a loss, you can have a profit, anything can happen. If you're having a profit, be humble. If you're having a loss, accept it. That is what the author is trying to tell, and that is what will make you consistently successful as a trader. The third one is beliefs keep on working regardless of whether we are consciously aware of their existence in our mental environment. In other words, we don't have to actively remember or have conscious access to any particular belief for that belief to act as a force on our perception of information or on our behavior. I know it is hard to believe that something we cannot even remember can still have an impact on our lives. But when you think about it, much of what we learn throughout our lives is stored at an unconscious or subconscious level. If I asked you to remember each specific skill you had to learn so that you could drive a car with confidence, chances are you would not remember all the things you needed to concentrate and focus on while you were in the process of learning. The first time I had the opportunity to teach a teenager how to drive, I was absolutely amazed at how much there was to learn, how much of the process I took for granted and no longer thought about at a conscious level. Possibly the best example that illustrates this characteristics is people who drive under the influence of alcohol. On any given day or night, there are probably thousands of people who have had so much to drink that they have no idea, that they have no conscious awareness of how they drove from point A to point B. It is difficult to imagine how this is possible unless you consider that driving skills and one's belief in his ability to drive operate automatically on a much deeper level than waking consciousness. So, certainly, some percentage of these drunk drivers get into accidents, but when you compare the accident rate with the estimated number of people driving under the influence of alcohol, it is remarkable that there aren't a great many more accidents. In fact, a drunk driver is probably most likely to cause an accident when he either falls asleep or something requires a conscious decision and fast reaction. In other words, the driving conditions are such that operating out of one's subconscious skills is not enough. Okay. So here the author is trying to tell that, you won't even be aware that your beliefs are working, right? And it is so you won't even know, and you know, and it will be impacting our lives. So, and one important thing is, when and the author connects with the skill of driving, right? When you start first driving the car, you will have to know a lot of things. You'll be very careful. You'll learn. You will sometimes make accidents and all. But after 2 3 years, it will be so, subconscious. You can talk and drive. You can listen to music and drive, can do all these things, right? And not only that, there are some people who drink and drive also. And the author is telling that although there's a probability of you getting, meeting with an accident, but the rate at which the drunk people are and number of people who are driving the car and dri- driving the car under the influence of an alcohol and the number of accidents, the he is telling that, no, I don't know whether the data which he has is correct or not, but yeah, we'll take it, superficially. He's telling that, that rate is actually, the number is actually less, and he's telling that probability of a drunk driver going into an accident is only if he falls asleep or something suddenly comes, and out of nowhere, and he obviously will not be in his senses to quickly apply the brakes, right? So basically he will you know meet go into an accident only when his subconscious skills are not enough, because he is driving from his driving nature is not conscious, he's in the subconsciously he's driving, so that beliefs, just like that, the beliefs are also subconsciously working against us. So yeah, so with this particular chapter ends, right? So basically we saw about the impacts of beliefs. So why, and it's still, actually that is not end actually. Okay, fine. So next topic is self-valuation and trading. Okay, it is in the 10th chapter only. Yeah, fine. Sorry, I thought it got over. So, so far we saw about the behavior of beliefs, right? And how each belief will resist if something you try to change. So don't try to change that belief, just make it unfunctional, remove the functionality of that particular belief. Second one is all beliefs will demand expression, so you have to put greater effort to suppress your old beliefs. You have to put that, and so that you have to believe that market every moment is going to be unique and probability it is going to, you should not have, it should go in this direction or that direction or something like that. The third one is everything is working, if you don't, it's all working. Actually, you can think that it is not working, but it is working. Your beliefs, your childhood, your whatever conditions you are brought up, the people who tell into your mind, the people, all these beliefs that are coming into you, they are working, right? So you have to be very careful, right? Okay, so now self-evaluation and trading. How this characteristic applies to our trading is also quite profound. The trading environment offers us an arena of unlimited opportunities to accumulate wealth. But just because the money is available and we can perceive the possibility of getting it, that does not necessarily mean that we as individuals have an unlimited sense of self valuation. In other words, there could be a huge gap between how much money we desire for ourselves, how much we perceive is available, and how much we actually believe we are worth or deserve. Everyone has a sense of self valuation. The easiest way to describe this sense is to list every active belief, both conscious and subconscious, that has the potential to argue either for or against accumulating or achieving greater and greater levels of success and prosperity. So, before we go into this part, we'll complete this. You know, the trading provides us unlimited opportunities, but it doesn't mean that we have unlimited sense of valuation. Which means we might be expecting only this much money, right? But the market is might be giving more. Or we think that if we get this itself is enough, or if we make this much money is enough, something like that, right? So that is how you actually evaluate yourself. You value yourself, right? And how to describe this is to list every active belief, conscious and unconscious, and obviously they will either argue for or against greater success. There may be some belief inside you which will tell that you deserve more and you have to make more money, or something which will tell, hey, don't be so greedy, or don't know your limit, something like that. So that will prevent you from taking so you have to list it down, right? And then match the energy from the positively charged beliefs against the energy from the negatively charged beliefs. If you have more positively charged energy arguing for success and prosperity than negatively charged energy arguing against them, then you have a positive sense of self-valuation. Otherwise, you have a negative sense of self-valuation. Okay. So if you list down both and whichever is stronger, that is how you will be. Okay. So the dynamics of how these beliefs interact with one another is not nearly so simple as I'm making it sound. In fact, it can be so complex that it could take years of sophisticated mental work to organize and sort out. What you need to know is that it is almost impossible to grow up in any social environment and not acquire some negatively charged beliefs that would argue against success or accumulating vast sums of money. Most of these self-sabotaging beliefs have long been forgotten and operate at a subconscious level. But the fact that we may have forgotten them does not mean that they have been deactivated. So we might, just as I said, it might sound simple. You list down these two things, and and whichever is stronger, you take it, and whichever is not stronger, you don't take it. But there are, as in the previous topic, he said that beliefs are, you don't have to be aware, right? And whether we are aware or not, they will keep working. So some of our beliefs are self-sabotaging, right? They will tell that you shouldn't become rich. Rich man is bad man, something like that. We will have such kind of uh, you know uh, hatred towards money, right? So, but that might be acting against us. Okay, so how do we acquire self-sabotaging beliefs? Unfortunately, it's extremely easy. Probably the most common way is when a child engages in some activity that a parent or teacher does not want him to do, and the child accidentally injures himself. Many parents, to get their point across to the child, will respond to a situation like this by saying, "This wouldn't have been happened to you if you did not deserve it. You disobeyed me, and look what happened. God punished you." The problem with making or hearing statements like this is that there is a potential for the child to associate every future injury with these same statements and subsequently form a belief that he must be an unworthy person, undeserving of success, happiness, or love. Okay, so what is happening when? How do you acquire such self-sabotaging beliefs? You basically you have uh, when you are as a child, you might have encountered something, you might have done something which your parent or teacher would have said not to do it, and you might got your fingers burnt, right? And probably now if you go and tell, they'll tell that you probably don't deserve it, or you did not listen to what I say, and that is why you got punished, right? These kind of statements will again enter into your mind, and they will tell that oh, maybe probably they are right, right? And probably you don't deserve, probably you don't deserve success, probably you don't deserve happiness, probably you don't deserve love, these kind of things, right? So these are all the self-sabotaging beliefs, right? So anything we feel guilty about can have an adverse effect on our sense of self-worth. Usually guilt is associated with being a bad person, and most people believe that bad people should be punished, certainly not rewarded. Some religions teach children that having a lot of money is not godly or spiritual. Some people believe that making money in certain ways is wrong, even though it may be perfectly legal and moral from society's perspective. Again, you may not have a specific recollection of learning something that would argue against the success you perceive as possible, but that does not mean that you learned what you learned is no longer having an effect. So this whole concept of guilt, right? So what is it doing? It is given to you by your religion, or some religions will tell that you if you want to become spiritual, you have to renounce money. Some will tell that making money is wrong, even though the way you make money, it is legal and moral, but they will tell that that is an evil thing. So you might have something which will there. You might think that these are all not going to have an effect, but having that belief inside your brain itself it will be acting in a subconscious manner. The way these subconscious self-sabotaging beliefs manifest themselves in our trading is usually in the form of lapses in focus or concentration, resulting in any number of trading errors, like putting in a buy for a sell, or vice versa, or allowing yourself to give in to distracting thoughts that compel you to leave the screen only to find out when you return that you missed the big trade of the day. I have worked with many traders who achieved various levels of consistent success but found they just couldn't break through certain thresholds in acquiring equity. They discovered an invisible but very real barrier similar to the proverbial glass ceiling that many women executives experience in the corporate world. Every time these traders hit the barrier, they experienced a significant drawdown, regardless of the market conditions. However, when asked about what happened, they typically blamed their sudden run of bad luck on just that luck or the vagaries of the market. Interestingly, they typically created a steadily rising equity curve, sometimes over a period of several months, and the significant drawdown always occurred at the same spot in their equity curve. I describe this psychological phenomenon as being in a negative zone. As magically as money can flow into a trader's accounts when he is in the zone, it can just as easily flow out if he is in a negative zone, where unresolved self valuation issues mysteriously act on his perception of information and behavior. I am not implying here that you have to deactivate every belief that would argue against your ever expanding positive sense of self valuation, because you don't. But you must be aware of the presence of such beliefs and take specific steps in your trading regimen to compensate when they start expressing themselves. Okay. So obviously, the author is telling that, if you might be feeling guilty, you might be telling that you shouldn't have so much money, you might be having a negative belief about money. And how you know that this is happening? Sometimes instead of you doing a buy, you'll do a sell. And sometimes you might be, distracting yourself. You might be, you'll not focus on the screen, you will just go somewhere and then come back. By the time, you know the trade would have gone, right? And or sometimes you will hit a drawdown, right? And you will tell that, it's just bad luck or something. But actually what is happening, these kind of self-sabotaging beliefs are working. So you have to put efforts to compensate for that. So every time when you tell that you don't deserve, you don't need more money, you have to tell to yourself, no, you deserve that money. You are going to make more money. You are here to make money. You don't care about others. That is what you are here for. You are here to make more money. If you don't want to make money, you will not have come to trading, right? So you would have taken a job, you would have taken something which makes your life, just the same way how you are. So you wanted to make more money, you wanted to become rich, you wanted to learn more, you wanted to be curious. That is why you took trading. So we have to put that efforts to counteract that particular self-sabotaging beliefs. So I think we'll end this particular session today. I know it's a shorter session today, but I think with that, it will end this particular chapter so that we can start a fresh chapter. I'll just quickly revise what we went through and then we'll end this session. So basically, the author tried to tell about the impact of the beliefs which we have trading, and they have some, we are sometimes aware of that. And the basic three characteristics is that, beliefs have its life, and they will, as a result, anything which has life, if you try to change it, it will try to resist. So don't try to change a belief, you know gently make it inactive, right? Don't remove the energy by replacing it with, telling that, that belief is there, but I'm not going to take that particular belief because that is going to create more problems for me. So let me focus on this newer belief. Then the second one, the author says that, all active beliefs, they all will demand expression. So you have so many beliefs which will keep, trying to express. And as a result, what is happening? You have to come out of that particular. You have to put a pause to be open to new belief, right? And for that, you have to put effort. Why is telling that all beliefs are going to demand active expression? Because then when you will understand that you have to put greater effort to open and accept new beliefs, right? So, and so as a result, you have to be very careful to have this newer belief. What is the newer belief? That every moment in market is unique and it's just a probability where you have some edge, right? But it can happen that way or it cannot happen that way. So you have to keep on having that particular belief in, give more effort to that particular belief, right? So that is what will make you a successful trader. The third one is that the author is telling that whether you understand or not, if you don't understand, beliefs will be working. You won't even know that they are working because they are so deep rooted. Just like how you can drive the car even though you have alcohol, these beliefs also will be working. You might not be aware that it is working. So finally the author tries to brings to tell that just like how these beliefs are working subconsciously, you have to be very careful on what effect it has in you valuing yourself, whether you have some belief which are all going against you, which are all self-sabotaging, like if you are from some religion, something, somewhere your childhood parents, they would have tell that don't have to be rich people are bad and you should not become rich, something like that. Those will be acting. And how will you know that those are acting? Because sometimes you will make a mistake of uh, what is it called, putting a buy instead of sell or sell instead of buy, or something like when the opportunity comes you will not be available because thinking that you are done for the day or something like that, right? So or sometimes you will have a significant drawdown, but you will think that you'll tell to yourself that it is some luck is no longer in your side, but actually it is your belief which is working against you. So author's asking us, he's before he goes to the next step of giving you the secret exercise to change your beliefs, he's asking us to be more cautious on the power of beliefs. So unless we understand these kind of behaviors of these kind of what you call as the impact and the what it has, we will not be serious, right? So we have to put greater efforts to change our beliefs. So that is the foundation of this particular chapter and the previous chapter. So with this we will end today's lesson, and obviously the next step is the exercise which we are all eagerly waiting on, how to change our belief. I'm pretty sure we'll look at it this particular chapter tomorrow. Okay. So thank you both people for joining this session. Thank you, Rakesh ji, for consistently joining and motivating. It means a lot. And so far, if with this particular chapter, we'll be able to end this particular book also. So we will have this meeting tomorrow. Okay. So thank you. Thanks a lot. Good night.